Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is March 22nd, 2024, and we are getting into the volume 188 of me answering your immigration related questions. As always, before beginning this video, I'm going to mention all the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources, USCIS, and of course, visa bulletin from the travel.state.gov, which is Department of State website. So let's start with the very first question from Kosar Hussein 8151. I hope this message finds you well. I would like to bring to your attention that my priority date is August 9, 2019, and my case attained documentary qualification on April 27, 2023. Awesome. 2023, so almost a year now you're documentary qualified. Okay, I'm currently residing in Iraq and my visa type is F2A and the scheduled interview location is Abu Dhabi. Despite the passage of time, I am still waiting my interview appointment, which seems to be considerably delayed. The petitioner holding a green card and our family includes a daughter who holds a USA passport. Although we harbor the desire to relocate to the United States, we find ourselves in a dilemma regarding the potential expediting of our case. As I have never visited the US before, I am seeking your expert recommendation on whether expediting our case is advisable. Your insights into our situation and any guidance you can provide would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your time and consideration. Kosar, thank you very much for your question. Let's take a look really quickly at the visa bulletin just to make sure you're immigrant. I'm pretty sure it should be already current because your priority date is back in August 9, 2019, and I'm pretty sure it is on September right now. So we're going to be looking at final action dates, which is the graph A showing when the immigrant visa becomes available. So F2A is currently on September 2020. Okay, so your immigrant visa, your priority date has been current now for over a year. So your immigrant visa technically been available for over a year. So really in situations like this, whenever you have such a delay in scheduling the interview, most of the times it has to do with the US Embassy where your interview is going to be scheduled. So with that being said, there are a few things that you can consider. Expediting the case, absolutely. There is absolutely nothing wrong with requesting the expedited processing for your case because you do meet all of the requirements. If you can find a good enough reason, which I think you do have a good enough reason because you've been waiting already for over a year, your priority date has been current for over a year, and that's really two requirements. Your priority date has to be current, and also you have to be documentarily qualified, obviously, which you already are. So definitely give it a shot. There is, whenever it comes to family reunification cases, we all have good reason whenever it comes to family reunification cases to request expedited processing because it's a family member, you haven't seen your family, so of course you want to see your family faster. And another good reason in your particular case is that your priority date has been current for that long now. So you can definitely do that. I do have a video on this channel that explains. It's pretty simple. You're just sending an email to NVC requesting the expedited processing, and that's it. Now, there's another thing that you can do. You can try to reach out to the US Embassy, and I think you said it in Abu Dhabi. So let me give you a link for, there you go, usembassy.gov. for US Embassy in Abu Dhabi. So that would be, I think my geography is not fantastic. Saudi Arabia, let's take a look. Saudi Arabia. No, this is in Riyadh. Saudi Arabia. It also might be United Arab Emirates. There you go. Might be in United Arab Emirates. There you go. Okay, so there it is. So just reach out to them, explain the situation, say, hey, my priority date has been current for about a year now. I am already documentarily qualified. I just wanted to see if you can give me information on approximately when my interview is scheduled. Sometimes they give out that information, sometimes they don't. In most of the cases they say, no, we can't give you that information. But honestly, for them, all they have to do is log into their system that shows the immigrant visa scheduling and see when is because honestly, I think it might have been already scheduled for you. The reason you don't know when it was scheduled for, because they have a certain timeline before they can announce when the interview was scheduled. So in a lot of cases, if it is already scheduled, they might just take a look, if they're, considered enough over the phone. Sometimes you get considered people, sometimes you don't. But it is worth a shot. So I'll put this link in response, and hopefully it works out for you. And again, if you do decide to file the expedited request, there's absolutely no problems with that at all. At least in my experience, you know, the cases that I've been dealing with, I have never seen any problems caused by a request to expedite, you know. So definitely give it a shot. And once you get the resolution, please come back to this channel and please provide an update. I would really appreciate it. All right, let's move on to the next one from Chad Leslie 9955. Good evening, sir. I live in Jamaica. My priority date is March 2011. I'm on F3. My papers are in Kingston, Jamaica Embassy. How long do you think I'll hear from them, or when do you think I'll get through? Thanks in advance for your answer. All right, Chad, let's take a look again at the visa bulletin. So you are on F3 and it's March 2011. So currently, as you can see, for all chargeability, because Kingston, Jamaica falls within all chargeability areas, is on October 2009. And you are in March 2011. So you are about 2 years, a little bit over 2 years. March 2011, October 2009, actually less than 2 years because it goes back. So about a year and a half, sorry my math is not fantastic, but about a year and a half from your priority becoming current. Once your priority becomes current, you see, for example, in my previous response to Kosar Hussein, you see he's already waiting for about a year now after being current and still waiting for an interview to schedule. So for everyone who is watching these videos, and whenever it comes to visa bulletin prediction, you also have to take into consideration the time that the US Embassy, the particular US Embassy, takes to schedule your interview. Depending on where US Embassy is, obviously some of them are busier than others, some of them have more flow, so it might take a little bit longer. So for you, it's about a year and a half to wait for the priority date to become current. This is a rough estimate because visa bulletin, sometimes it moves good, you know, positively, sometimes it goes back, it retrogresses. Sometimes it doesn't move at all. So if we see the consistent movement about a month, every month, about a year and a half for your priority date to become current, and then of course however long the US Embassy will take to schedule your interview. So stay on top of the visa bulletin on this channel. Every month the new visa bulletin comes up. I make a video. Right now the most recent visa bulletin is for April 2024. Once May comes out, I'll make a video on that, so far so forth, and I compare the movement basically so everyone can stay updated. Okay, let's move on to the next one from user EE9NK. Not very happy, smiley faces, unfortunately. So here's another comment. Sir, my I-94 form online so please help me, sir, regarding the I-94 form online, but still the official website not working. So how to solve this? Please help me, sir. So the best way to figure this out, and it's common, so don't be too upset about it. I personally had a problem with the I-94 where I could not pull up my travel record. And a lot of times, as everyone is familiar with, whenever you're doing any kind of application, you do have to provide the travel record, and you know, pulling it up online and have from Customs Border Protection showing you exactly when you got in, exactly when you got out is a lot easier. But it doesn't always work, unfortunately. So the best way to do it, if you really do need to get it, if you really need to obtain your I-94 or travel history, is reach out directly to Customs and Border Protection through the Customs and Border Protection website that is linked in this video. This is the best way to do it. I unfortunately can't really do personally anything myself for you. You would have to go, you know, you would have to contact them, provide them your personal information, and that's really, if it's not working online, and a lot of times it doesn't work online, the main reason is because as immigrants we all have names that are not quite usual for, you know, people here, and when you're entering the country, if there is a one single letter that is off, if there is, you know, not a space in your double last name, or you have a middle name that they use as a last name, if something like this is mixed up, it's not gonna come up. It's very sensitive to these kind of errors. For a good reason, of course, so that nobody else can use your information and pull up your information. So it's not a bad thing, but if there's a small mistake, you yourself won't be able to do it. But if you contact them directly, the CBP, Customs Border Protection, they will be able to help you with that. So hopefully you can figure it out. I'm gonna post the response here, and I will also post the response here. And once you do figure out, please come back. And everyone, if my answers are helpful and you are able to resolve your case, I would really appreciate you coming back and saying it's resolved, because it's good, to have questions and potentially answers, hopefully helping other people as well. But it's also great to hear the resolutions. All right, let's move on to the next one from user Li7EW. Hi, how are you? I'd like to know how long I wait for F1 to become 2013. So I'm assuming your priority date is in 2013. So F1, it's sons and daughters of US citizens who are over 21, not US citizens, but your daughters, sons and daughters. So let's take a look. So you're 2013, huh? So right now we are on 2015. So you are 2 years. You are 2 years already, if it is your priority date, if I understand it correctly. Your visa should be available already for 2 years now. That's what it means when your priority date is been current for 2 years on the visa bulletin. Unless, of course, you're from Philippines or from Mexico. Because if you are from Philippines, then in that case, as you can see, it's May 12th. So you might have another year before your immigrant visa becomes available. And for Mexico, unfortunately, it's a lot longer for Mexico because of the flow of immigration is higher for that chargeability area. So it's your 2013, and Mexico's 2001, so 12 more years. So please let me know your chargeability area, and if you are in all chargeability area or China or India, in that situation, like I said, for 2 years, so you should be by now already documentarily qualified. And now the only reason why you're not getting your interview scheduled is because the US Embassy is some kind of delay in the US Embassy, and they're just not able to schedule at that time. In that case, if you are already documentarily qualified and if your priority date is really current for 2 years, same way, go to the website usembassy.gov, and it will have the list of all the countries where US embassies are. Just go there, give them a call and say, hey, my priority date been current for 2 years now, and I want to see what's going on. Or alternatively, you can reach out to the NVC, submit a public inquiry form, and see what they say. I do have a video on how to submit the public inquiry form on this channel as well. All right, let's move on to the next one from Rezwan Rahmat 1847. Hello, I'm from Afghanistan and I applied for my wife right now. My case is in NVC and says this. Please advise me that what I should do. Due to the numerical limitations on immigrant visa issuance prescribed by law, this petition is not eligible for further processing at this time. The National Visa Center NVC will retain the petition until immigrant visa becomes available. The NVC will notify the petitioner, principal applicant, or attorney of the record when this petition is eligible for further processing. Okay, Rezwan, so if you want a little bit more details on your situation, and again, very rough predictions, not exact dates, but rough predictions, let me know already know your chargeability area, your all chargeability area. Let me know your priority date, and I'm assuming you're not documentarily qualified yet, but sometimes NVC, they can give you the message if you are already documentarily qualified and if your immigrant visa is not available. But sounds like your NVC is still locked. So you're applying for your wife, and that means if you're still waiting for her immigrant visa to become available, you are a permanent resident. So she would be in F2A category. And in F2A category, right now, for all chargeability area, for the NVC portal to open up for documentary qualification, we are looking on September 2023, which is not current with the current date, obviously, because we are in March 2024, but it is pretty close, about 6 months. So it's about 6 months behind. So if I'm understanding your case correctly from the information that you provided, you are looking roughly at about 6 months before the NVC portal can open up so that you can start your documentary qualification process. So nothing to worry about. Everything is fine as long as I understand your information correctly. What I would suggest doing is you start working on the things that you will need to get your beneficiary, your wife, documentarily qualified with the NVC. I do have a separate video on this channel on becoming documentarily qualified where I show the actual NVC portal once it opens up. Basically, there's a few things that you will have to submit there. It's DS-260, which is the application for the immigrant visa. Kind of like DS-160, pretty much the same, only it has petitioner beneficiary information, very straightforward. Pay the fees for the DS-260. There's also affidavit of support, which is, I would say, probably the most important part of becoming documentarily qualified. So I would check with the minimum income requirements. I do have a video on that as well to make sure that you meet the minimum income requirements in order to sponsor your wife, to be a qualified sponsor. And if not, then obviously you would have to look for a joint sponsor, someone who will be willing to be a joint sponsor on the application. And financial documents, really, the tax returns, tax transcripts. There will be marriage certificate that you would have to upload, birth certificates, police report. You know, your wife right now can work on obtaining a police report from the country, from Afghanistan. So yeah, just, the police report showing that there is no, court or anything like this. And I think if I'm not missing anything, that's pretty much it. Everything that is involved in documentary qualification process. So check out that video and start preparing for it so that once your NVC portal opens up, you can submit everything and hopefully get documentary qualified on the first shot. Good luck with that, and please keep me updated. I always appreciate the updates. And of course, everyone on this channel who are watching these videos, I'm sure they would appreciate update as well. All right, let's move on to the next one from Amy Cortez 7710. Hi sir, my priority date is January 2, 2003 and documentarily qualified on April 2022. Congratulations. Under F4 category from Philippines. Based on visa bulletin for April 2024, my priority date is current. May I know if I can request an expedite my visa interview? Yes, absolutely. My sister who petitioned me is undergoing chemotherapy and I want to assist her because she is struggling with the effects of the medicine. Thank you in advance for your help. Amy, absolutely, 100%. I would recommend definitely go ahead and request that expedited processing. Let me double check to make sure it is current. So let's see, F4 and your January 2, 2003. So we're going to look at the graph A, Philippines, F4, June 03. Okay, and you are January 3. So you are already, your priority date has been current now for about 6 months, if I understand correctly. Wait a second. January, so you're January 2003 and the visa bulletin is on June 15, 2003. Yes. So for about 6 months now, your priority date has been current. It is current. You are documentary qualified. You have a very, very important reason to expedite the case. So yes, absolutely, go ahead. I do have a video on this channel on how to submit that expedited request. It's a pretty straightforward process. All you're doing is sending the email with your information to the NVC, and what they do is they forward that information, if it's approved, to the US Embassy, obviously in Philippines, and then they look if they can basically squeeze in your case for an interview sooner than they were planning. And yeah, I think you're looking at, I'm pretty sure there shouldn't be any problems expediting your case. So definitely do that. If you need any information, any help, please come back to this channel and I'll be happy to address that, and hopefully it works out for you. And if it does, please come back and update. I'd really appreciate that. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Faisal Tahiro. Thank you for the update. Faisal, you're very welcome. Hopefully my answer was helpful. Moving further to Daphne JH7. Hi sir, thank you for your help. My case was upgraded to IR2 and I got my welcome letter. I am Daphne Blackwood. I posted on volume 171. Thank you. Okay, Daphne, so I will take a look at 171. I can't do that right now, but I'll definitely take a look at the comments through on I-71 and I'll try to update. But if you have been upgraded to IR2, which is for children of US citizens, so that means that your parents became naturalized, which congratulations with that, which is fantastic because it means now you don't have to wait. That's it. Your immigrant visa is available now. That's it. It is available now because there is no backlog, there is no wait whenever it comes to immediate relatives, which is what IR category is, which is fantastic. So really the only thing that you're waiting right now is for the interview to be scheduled at the US Embassy. So if you want, if that's what you're interested in and to find out when the interview is scheduled or if it was scheduled already, you can reach out to the US Embassy in your country and give them that information and see if they can give you a response and give you the date when your interview was scheduled. Don't be upset if they don't. A lot of times they don't. They say we can't give you that information, but sometimes they do. And I will definitely take a look at your original question on volume 171 and I'll try to get back on that as well. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Kathy Cares 8349. How about status of F3, August 2000, priority date, DFF, November 2003. Okay, so priority date is 2000, August 2000. F3, let's take a look and see what's going on for F3. Oh, 2000, so should have been current now for 9 years, unless you are from Mexico, in Mexico chargeability area. If you are Mexico chargeability area, in that case you have about 2 more years for it to be current. If Philippines, then it's been already current for 2 years, and I don't think you're in all chargeability or China or India because that wouldn't really make a lot of sense. Okay, so Kathy, if you can, let me know your chargeability area. I will be able to give you a little bit more information. Still rough estimates, but a little bit better and see what's going on. But so far, it looks like you either been... You can be. I don't think there's, for 9 years, somebody is waiting past the priority date being current. Philippines, if you're from Philippines, yes, that makes sense. About 2 years in some situations. Yes, US Embassy, especially in countries like Philippines, because of the heavier, immigration traffic flow, they might take longer, as long as about 2 years to schedule the interview. Or if, like I said, if you're from Mexico, then there is 2 more years to wait, unfortunately, because Mexico, they have the longest backlog waits, unfortunately, for whenever it comes to family reunification. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Nayasha Charya 5240. Hello sir, I had applied for the immigration petition on 14th March of 2016. Now my case has been approved by USCIS and the NVC has sent me the notice of being documentarily qualified. Awesome. My visa class is F11, unmarried 21 years and above, son, daughter of US citizen. I fall under all chargeability areas. How long should I expect for my visa interview to be scheduled? I was documentarily qualified on 15th April of 2023. Okay, so almost a year now. Thank you for your response in advance. Absolutely, thank you for providing all the needed information. Let's take a look at F1 and see what's going on. So you're already documentarily qualified. And looks like we are on February 2015 as of April 2024. And your priority date is March 2016. Okay, so March 2016, we are on 2015, February, so about a year. You have about a year to wait for your priority date to become current. When it becomes current, your immigrant visa is available. Plus, like I've mentioned earlier in this video, you do have to consider that US Embassy might take some time before they schedule the interview. In most situations, I would say it's somewhere between 6 months and a year. On average 9 months, but in the countries where there is a heavier immigration flow, it can take as long as 2 years, 2.5 years. I've seen, from some people on this channel taking that long. Again, this is rough estimate because we actually seen in the past few visa bulletin editions, we have seen some really good movement on F1. So it might be faster than that. Hopefully it is. But as of right now, as of April 2024 visa bulletin, that's what you are looking at. So let me post the response here, and we're gonna move on to the next one from Gribvlogger 3525. Salam, sir. I'm documentarily qualified already. Awesome. And the travel history I'm talking about was back in 2013, and I came back to my country in 2016. Okay, so you've been out of your country for 3 years, and it was about 10 years ago, and I lost my passport. Okay, what should I do in that situation? And one thing is more, I mentioned about it in the non-immigrant visa form DS-160 back in 2023, so that's pretty recent. And I didn't mention the same thing in DS-260. We'll be really thankful if you just give me an idea how to explain that situation to the visa officer. Thank you. Well, Grib, the only thing I can think of, if you have the copy of your old passport, then I would bring that. If you don't have a copy of your old passport showing that whatever visa or entry, departure stamps, in that case I would just say, hey, I didn't mention because I couldn't provide the documentation showing that I was traveling because I lost my passport. And if you have, and I'm sure you should have, a record of losing your passport, bring that to show them that yes, you really did lose your passport and here is the updated passport. That would be, in my opinion, I think that would be the best explanation, because if you are filling out a DS-260 with your old passport, you had that information in front of you, you had the travel history in front of you, you could easily fill it out, but you can't because you lost it. So the only option you would have had is to provide approximate dates, which is honestly not the best case scenario. So give it a shot. I mean, you're already documentarily qualified, so really it's really pointless to reach out to NVC at this point and say, hey, can you guys reopen my application, reopen my DS-260 so I can correct it. So now you'll just be dealing with US Embassy directly. And honestly, it's not a bad thing at all, because it's a lot easier to explain something like this verbally. Whenever you're talking to the consul in the US Embassy, you will be able to explain it much better than, over the computer. So good luck with that. Once you do get, hopefully, through your interview successfully, don't forget to come back to this channel, provide an update, because I'd really appreciate it. Okay, let's move on to the next question from Daniamarn 8046. This is what NVC emailed me last. 15 February 2024. Okay, so just recent, about a month ago, and my priority date is 21st May 2020. Dear Marnie Clavicilis, this notice is to inform you that your case for immigration visa is documentarily complete at the National Visa Center and has been since 6 February 2023. Awesome. Okay, so you've been documentarily qualified for over a year now. NVC has received all the fees, forms, and documents required. Prior to attending an immigrant visa interview, your petition is awaiting an interview appointment. At this time, no further action is required. We appreciate your patience. Your case will remain at NVC until an appointment is scheduled, at which time we will send it to appropriate US Embassy and Consulate General. We will notify the applicant, petitioner, and attorney, if applicable, when appointment is scheduled. All right. I emailed NVC regarding my visa schedule, and they said they will email again if my interview is available, so I guess I have to wait more. I'm tired of waiting though, but this is the least I can do right now. I already did my part, and I'm praying that will happen very soon. Thank you so much for your help. God bless. Marnie, thank you. God bless you too. And yeah, just stay positive. And really, whenever it comes to these cases, a lot of it is waiting. And I completely understand, because I've been waiting now for 3 years, and I have about 13 more years to wait for my family reunification case that I have filed for my brother. So I completely understand it. Whenever I answer these questions, it's not just, hey, wait, because I wait myself. So I know how it feels. But here's the thing: you are already documentarily qualified. I don't remember what your category was, but if you I'm sure you know how to read the visa bulletin by now. But if you take a look at the visa bulletin, and if for sure you know that your priority date is current for your category, then a couple of things you can do is you can try to reach out now, instead of the NVC, directly to the US Embassy where your interview is going to be scheduled, and see if they can give you any more information on approximately how long you'll be waiting. And if your priority date is current, you can definitely try to submit an expedited request with the NVC, because you're already documentarily qualified, so you already meet that requirement. Another requirement is your priority date being current, meaning your immigrant visa is already available, and really a reason why you're requesting the expedited request. But as far as, like I said earlier, as far as the family immigration cases go, we all have good reasons to expedite cases, because that's family we're talking about. So, it makes sense. And hopefully you're able to resolve it. Once you get your interview scheduled, please come back to this channel and update. I'd really appreciate it. And the very last comment for today: you're doing a great job. Thanks a lot. Modi Bua Walu. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hopefully you found this video helpful. God bless everyone, and I'll see you all in the next video.